Okay, so in this video, I'm going to try and explain the basic setup. Perhaps not the initial setup, but the standard setup for uh, the difference between chemists and cycles and cycle types. Now, one of the big questions, and this will affect how everything runs thereon for this pharmacy, is how many weeks do you pack at a time in most cases for your DAA packs? Um, Now, this is quite important because some pharmacies might pack 2 weeks at a time, some might pack four. That's the only options that we'll be giving in Webbit, two or four. And depending upon if they usually pack two or four will really affect kind of how the whole system goes from here. So you've got the two options of two or four. Um, Going on from here, um, if you have, let's go four. Four is really the easiest. With four, if we just look at this section here, with 4 weeks, if I'll just use this here. Let's just call this the Chemist. Okay, CH. Now, with the Chemist, if they pack all 4 weeks and 4 weeks, then they've packed that medication. Now, if a patient comes in, the patient might collect 4 weeks and 4 weeks, or the patient might collect PX2. The patient might collect 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. But the important part is 4 weeks has been 4 weeks has been created at one time. So this is one option here for the pharmacy. Now that's why this is this here the easiest option. Now with this here, no problem at all patients will get 4 weeks made for them at a time. If some patients only pick up 2 packs at a time, you can change this in the patient management section. So pretty much by default, um, this is the default here for a 4 weekly pharmacy. Um, However, some patients might be adjusted to get 2 weeks at a time. Now, the next option is where it gets, well, significantly more complex. Um, and the reason for that, sorry, let's just, okay, now the reason for that is, I'm just gonna, okay, let's have a look here. The reason for that is in the situation with two, if the pharmacy creates two, right, if a patient does want 4 weeks, so the pharmacy only creates 2 weeks at a time. But what if you get a patient that wants 4 weeks? So they want more than what you're usually creating. If a patient does want 4 weeks at a time, are all 4 week patients made in the same cycle? So the question is, do they create all those 4 weekly patients at the same time, or do they create them just whenever? Now, in a better way to explain that, we've got what the chemist makes. Um, Again, now in this situation, the chemist is only making 2 weeks at a time. All right, so nice and easy, 2 weeks at a time. However, this patient, the standard patient, they would pick up 2 weeks. Okay, then you've got patient two. Now, patient two actually turns around and the patient two wants to pick up 4 weeks at a time. So they want to pick up all 4 weeks, which means for this specific patient, the chemist has got to make 4 weeks worth not just the 2 weeks. So this patient will have to have more packs generated. Now you do get the question here is if we've got, let's say we've got patient 3. Now, let's say patient 3 comes in on week 3. He's a new patient and he says, I'd like Webster packs, but I want to pick up 4 weeks at a time. Now, there are 2 different options that might occur. And let's just call this PX 3.2. So these here are 2 different options. Now, depending upon what the chemist actually wants to do, does the chemist go, no problem? What happens is we'll create 2 weeks so that they get back in the same cycle, and then they go, and now you get 4 weeks. So now these guys, these patients, are in the same cycle. They get a monthly supply at the start of each month, or whenever the pharmacy wants it. Is this how they do it? Or does the pharmacy say, no problem, you started here in week 3, so we will create 1 month. And then here we'll create 1 month going onwards. So what's actually happening here is you've either got the option of having a monthly cycle system, which is what this is, which means you've got what we call a monthly cycle where everybody gets spat out at the same time. When you become, so you've got a monthly, not a monthly. Oh, sorry, because that's not. We'll ignore that. I'm sorry. Let's just have a look here. So you would have a monthly, not a monthly, monthly, not a monthly. So here you can see that on a monthly cycle, you've got all that happening. On a monthly cycle, you've got all that happening. On a not monthly cycle, you only have those ones going through. Now, that might be the situation. Otherwise, the other situation is coming down here, and you've got this here, and then this with this patient, and then all that, and this with this patient. So it really depends on settings with the patient. So with the pharmacy, sorry. So here, if a patient does want 4 weeks at a time, are all 4-week patients made in the same cycle? If yes, if all 4-week patients are made in the same cycle, this is the situation we have here. This one here, because this here refers to every single patient. If they get any packs at all, if they get a 4-week cycle, it will always be created. All 4-week cycles get made at the same time. Whereas the other option, which would be option no, is that whenever the patient comes in, that is when their cycle commences. And if they want to get 4 weeks, then they have 4 weeks here, and this patient gets 4 weeks 2 weeks later. I hope that makes some kind of sense. But this is certainly one of the more complex parts of the program.